Jërëjëf Sëñ Touba jarama Mam Cheikh Ibra Fall. I'm watching Echo from Touba with S.Fallou GAYE. I'm Mam Jaraba from Frankfurt, Germany. Thank you. Keep watching.
رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سدد لساني نوّر جناني صفي أماني وزد برائي. Brothers and sisters, welcome again to Echo from Touba. From Lampfal TV, having an honorable guest today, Serigne Mustafa Mbake, son of Sheikh Gaynde Fatma of Sheikh Muhammad Mustafa and Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba Khadim Rasoul. Also president of Nasr. Nasr is a new alternative for solidarity and reinforce unity. Here a political party in Senegal. Serigne Mustafa, welcome to the program.
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
Today, September 21st, big date in our calendar, Murid or the calendar. That's exactly when the Sheikh left the African continent. I mean, not the African continent, but Senegal for Gabon after a trial over in St. Louis. September 11, also 5th, a court proceeding reached a guilty decision and exile him. What do you have to say about that particular trial over in St. Louis?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for inviting me again here. This is, we congratulate you first of all.
Thank you.
For reminding people in general throughout the world about September 21st, during which, or on which, a great occurrence happened in the midst of the Atlantic Ocean, and that is the execution of the prayer of the Sheikh in the midst of the Atlantic Ocean between Dakar and Conakry. Now, the court proceedings you talked about, the September 5th trial, which has similarities with this day because he executed a prayer after he entered the court, the governor's office.
Right.
That did not please them, and I think my conclusion is that that's one of the reasons they so quickly reached a decision within an hour, knowing the consequences that this was going to have in Senegal, in the Murid community, in the Islamic community.
Right.
So this is an Islamic victory. In that this person who executed this prayer from this ship, which departed on this day in the morning, this man has, in reality, demonstrated the veracity of Islam.
Right. By standing by himself over there.
By standing by himself over there, by refusing to adjourn his prayer for another hour, and saying that I'm going to execute my prayer at this time, which was prescribed by Allah to all created beings.
It was a fard prayer or a sunnah prayer?
It was a fard prayer.
Oh, mashallah.
It was from Muhammad al-Khayri Jahade, may Allah have mercy on his soul. He said that he heard from Sayyid Amsadu that it was the noon prayer. Now, if you calculate the document, the archive document I have does not specifically say what time the ship left. It was a big ship.
Right.
We would say today more than a 12,000 metric ton ship.
Right.
And the Sheikh jumped from the ship on the Atlantic Ocean to execute his prayer because of the captain of the ship refusing to allow him to pray on the deck. So this was September 21st. Now remember, I just read an archive note which was written by Governor Mute, who presided over the September jury, who said to the Minister of the Colonies that they will deport him, and this was dated September the 18th, which was a Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, the Shah departed from here, Friday or Saturday, in the Gregorian calendar. Now we're still researching what date is exactly on the lunar calendar. So when they departed from St. Louis, Senegal, to Dakar, Kër Jean Thiam, as we know it.
The house of Jean Thiam.
The house of Jean Thiam. When he wanted to break his fast, they asked him to respond to the governor. He didn't say, let me break my fast, because it was one of the conditions that he should abide by is to do whatever the white man says if that does not infringe upon his religious duties. He followed the governor's envoy. When he went there, they locked him in a room.
The famous room.
That famous room. Exactly. Yeah. So up to today, we don't know which room,
it was.
Where the room is, because somebody told me it was Kanlumuji.
I heard Job also.
Somebody else says it's Kanjaljo. So this is a state matter. It is a duty incumbent upon any government in Senegal to disclose these
archives,
right, and these locations.
I'm going to jump in there. Is it the Sheikh really was a target, a plot of assassination, of eliminating his physical body? Was that really the plan of
that started in St. Louis, Senegal?
It did.
If you read the journal of the Sheikh, in which he says, while in St. Louis, I have suffered trials. He did not say what kind, but he used kafil mumit, the one who preserves, the giver of death. That means that is almost equal to the withdrawal of the soul. So it started in St. Louis. In reality, they wanted to kill him in St. Louis.
Right.
Because at that moment,
even reading Asirum al-Abrar,
that's right,
certain verses really translate how much pain he went with those people over there in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, Senegal.
Because his relationship with Allah, he never mentioned exactly what kind of problem they gave him. He just, brushed it off for respect of Allah and His Prophet.
Unless it is a trial that would equate that of a prophet or a Nabi, such as the trial of Abraham.
Abraham, right.
He would not say it.
Allahu Akbar.
He said the trial of Abraham, he said the trial of Yunus, he said the trial, etc., etc. So, of course, he was the target of assassination right here. Now, Governor Mute, after deliberating, left Senegal and is relocated to Gabon.
Right.
So you see, if you follow the archives and the work of the French authorities throughout the journey of the Sheikh, you will see that there was a clear plot. The first thing they did when he arrived in Gabon was what? Bury him alive.
Right. Okay.
And the Sheikh alluded to this from the verse in the chapter of Maryam. Subhana Rabbina in kana wa'du Rabbina al-maf'ula. That ayah he put, and based on the Ra, he wrote, Radama Rabbi ma'aduwi hafar, lidarari wasanani aman kafar.
MashaAllah.
My Lord has ejected me from that hole in which they dug for me in order to destroy me.
MashaAllah. And
now, Surah Maryam,
right.
19th chapter. 19th chapter, the number 19.
The number 19.
We're just talking about that.
Absolutely, with the basmala, right?
The Sheikh's mother.
And he went out, he went away also on the 19th of Muharram.
He departed on the 19th of Muharram, first month.
First month, mashallah.
And he was born on the 19th
on the same
of Muharram.
date.
You know why he was not willing to disclose that date on which he was born? He didn't want people to celebrate it, because he was already celebrating the birth of the Prophet Muhammad.
All the world should know about Sheikh Al-Khadim, because the amount of writing he did, we can't even compare it to any other writer in history or in present time.
7 tons.
So on top of that, so we've seen the translation. They're very good, but to have the right translation, because Arabic, as you know, is not. Sometimes you can, accuracy.
Yeah.
How do you do? Do you have somebody helping you on that? Or?
Yeah, I had before saying Bakifal. Sing Bakifal, the son of Sing Mustafa Fall. Yeah, he's good with this, and I have some more people who are good in Arab. But I need to have a team. They always tell me you have to have a team. So we created Majalis Germany.
Yeah.
But until now, I haven't found the right people who can really help me.
Does it have anything to do with the Majalis of Sering?
No, this is from Sing Aziz.
This is from Sing Aziz?
We did this with Sing Aziz.
So you have another, branch of Majalis in Germany. MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
Germany. I hope it will continue because sometimes people, don't have time. Like Germany, I understand Germany. It's very, very, very hard.
So from 88 to today, we on 2016. It's been a while, quite a while.
Quite a while.
You join us in this order. How's your feeling today? If you have to give us your feeling about the order, Sheikh Al Khadim, what you're gonna have to say today? If you look back, and look also up in the future and the present time. What is it?
I'm too small to say anything about. I'll give advices really.
It's not your feeling. I mean, you have a sentiment.
Yeah, but I'm not interfering. I cannot say I'm with this party or this party. I know I'm a Baifal. Baifal is very modest.
Oh.
I'm married to a Baifal is very modest.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So it's another level, because they say first you're a mu'min. Innal muslimina wal muslimat, mu'minin, mu'minat, khanitin. At the end, حافظين فروجهم وحافظات ذاكرين الله كثير وذاكرات. That means really the standing of Baifal is all the way on top.
Yeah,
this is
I'm
nothing
at the
close.
And I'm at the start.
Right.
That's why I got married to him, because he's
that's what I'm saying.
Way ahead of me.
That's what, so you're a Muslim, because people don't even think about that sometimes. When Allah asks people to be a Muslim, innal muslimin wal muslimat, mu'min, practicing, khanitin, sabirin, saimin, fasting,
have patience,
being
modest, being humble,
hafizin of furujum, protecting your own self, and then the last word, zakirin, those who remember Allah constantly. And that's the situation of the Baifal. So what got you from the get-go to the Baifal area? How did it happen? That's another question.
Sometimes you fall in love.
With Sheikh Baifal, right?
Yeah, but with the Baifal too. And, then this is what I really prayed.
Because it's hard to be a Baifal, really.
Yeah, I know.
Because this is very hard work.
I know.
And the tremendous love they have of Sheikh Al Khadim.
I've been to his dara. I know.
They're great people. They're great people.
And hard working people.
So what
very modest.
What do you think about Sheikh Ibrahim? He does.
Sheikh Ibrahim. In Germany.
I know you're Yaifal, right?
Yeah, but the problem is in Germany. That's what when I was thank you to Njaga Job too.
So Njaga Job,
always visiting us, always putting us in the right place. The German people mix up sometimes the Rastafarian with the Baifal, because of their hair. They don't even consider. They even they get them mixed up sometimes. But the hair of the Baifal is to carry heavy loads.
But is it because perhaps some Senegalese people are going there instead of staying in the teaching of Sheikh Ibrahim, or following at the same time the teaching of that guy from Jamaica, and then wanted them, to have one leg in this Baifalism thing and have other leg in Rastafarism? Maybe that's what brings confusion over there.
Those are the false Baifal. And that's what we say in Germany. That's when Jagajov comes. Or that's what I really wish more Fallen would come over there. And more Mbaki would come over there. They're all a little bit afraid of Germany. They're all a little bit afraid of Germany. München is a big theater. It's always welcoming. In
Maybe there's a door. It's a door opening from you in order for them to come and join you and show them what Baifal is. Because if you go to Touba, if you see Mustafa Mbar, Serigne Fallou Fall, Serigne Cheikh Ngunda Fall, all these great Baye Fall, believe me. If you spend a day with them, you'll understand what really a true Baye Fall is. He's the one who really stay away from anything that Allah doesn't want.
I went to the daughter of my husband, and it's really, Serigne Mata Fall is...
So he just fell in love with Cheikh Ibra Fall, his message, how he worked for Cheikh Al-Khadim.
And his talib.
His altruism, his endeavor for the Sheikh.
Because it's levels, and they are very hard for someone in Germany to leave all the egoism. You have been to the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how the children grow up. This is how I grew up. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine. This is mine.
Liking or loving being with Cheikh Ibra Fall is a gift. It's not something someone can just acquire for himself. No. Cheikh Al-Khadim himself will give you the opportunity to love a great person. If that wasn't Cheikh Ibra Fall, nobody would know Serigne Touba.
But
because of him.
We say Cheikh Ibra Fall is the door to Mouridism. So there has to be a reason.
Absolutely. And Serigne Jaga Diop, I remember we did a lecture recently over there in one university. He was saying, what is hurting the world right now is everybody wants to become someone. Everybody wants to be a leader. I want to be this director. I want to be the president. I want to be the deputy. But Mam Cheikh Ibra Fall is the one who wanted to be nothing. He wanted to be nothing. Even if you mention his name, you can call everybody Serigne, but Cheikh Ibra Fall, you cannot call him Serigne Cheikh Ibra Fall. No. Nobody call him that. No. Everybody Serigne, Serigne, Serigne. But Cheikh Ibra Fall, you won't even call him. If you say Serigne Ibrahima Fall, something is clicking.
Yeah, it's not, doesn't sound right.
And that's a great work. How he got that? Because he gave everything he had for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the days he used to go out, look for woods, cleaning houses, doing everybody. Other people were learning. They don't, right? This is Islam. But he did much more on top of that.
I think he came to support Saint Touba to carry Saint
Absolutely. And he said that Sayyidina Jibril taught him how to be with Saint Touba. When he was in those areas, when he met Serigne Adama Gaye, who brought him to Serigne Touba, he said, Sayyidina Jibril is the one who taught me how to behave yourself in front of or next to Cheikh Al-Khadim. So we in Rajab, the 27th, will be a day celebrated because of Isra al-Mi'raj. When he said that, it was Subhanallazi Asra bi Abdi. That's when Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went up to go get the beautiful gift the community is God, or is still having and respecting this 5 days prayers. And Serigne Fallou was born also on that particular day. He said, Dani lay, you had problem translating that. Dani lay money, money chop. He went up.
God
he was elevated.
The Prophet,
and I came down.
And I came down.
And came down with an order of building a mosque. So that has a link also with the 5 prayers, 5-time prayers, because he was building a mosque. He's the one who finished the mosque. And the daily prayers also came at that night. What is it you can say on that
on Saint Fallou.
person, on Saint Fallou?
On Saint Fallou.
My namesake, by the way.
You've already said it, really.
MashaAllah.
Me, I'm completely Saint Fallou. I did a little small conference on Saint Fallou, but Saint Fallou is you're the one. Really? I know.
That's my namesake. I'm a Taliban of Serigne Saliou by Serigne Murtala, Serigne Abdullah. But Serigne Fallou, everybody. They say everybody in Senegal, all the Murid have something for Serigne Fallou.
Yeah, because he
any little problem, you have to call off on Serigne Fallou.
Everything possible.
Right,
At this time too, there was the.
Anything you know about Serigne Fallou you want to talk about? This is Rajab. You know, anything you can add up to.
All I know that the building of the mosque was very important, and when he was with Leopold Senghor. You know, they were friends, and then he helped him to do this, because at this time they had to do what the colons said, the way they built the mosque. They couldn't even do it the way they want to do it, because if not, Senghor was the interim.
He was the president. He came in a very rough time, because when Serigne Fallou came in, it was the war.
World War, just finished.
By the way, Serigne Mona Mustafa, he passed away. He passed away in 18th of July 1945.
45.
Yeah, that's the same day they were signing the end of the war.
End of the war, yeah.
And at the same day, Serigne Fallou became Khalif of Serigne Touba.
Oh, this is something.
The same day he became Khalif of Serigne Touba.
It's so many, how we say batin.
Yeah, there's a lot.
He said
but he has a great heart. His tongue also,
his
praying
tongue,
also. You know, he's a good heart.
Yeah.
I think, religious leaders like Sheikh Al-Khadim, Sheikh Ahmad Bamba, Sidi Aj Malik, and many played a big role, in that situation, because helping Senegalese to stay firm in what they believe and also to safeguard their own culture. And today, if you go to many countries in Africa, you can find them on the streets speaking French and, being completely colonized. But still, we're not 100% free, but at least we hold into our own culture. I think it's a benefit, and then we should give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also to Sheikh Al-Khadim and many others who fought because of that. What do you think about Africa being colonized by French and what happened? I don't know, maybe you didn't learn something about it, but you have some facts on that.
Yeah, it's, I really think it's beautiful sort of how Sufism in Senegal is really at its core very Senegalese and comes out of the culture, and how Mouridism in some ways was a response to colonization, how Serigne Touba, Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba was an anti-colonial figure as well, and still really has that meaning to a lot of people. You were asking me about American culture earlier. In a lot of places that you go around the world, you hear people playing American rap, listening to, wearing American clothes, things like that. And Senegal really has a strong tradition of its own music, a lot of it based on Sufi songs and ideas and things like that.
I'm just going to go back to a question I should have maybe asked before, because I remember I had an imam in the show, Imam Majid. If you remember the inauguration of Donald Trump, he was the imam that was doing the recital, the Quranic recital. He came to Senegal. Actually, I had him in the show. You can check it out in YouTube. His name is Imam Majid. He's the imam of Washington Masjid, Adam Center of Washington. So he was telling me basically over there in America, because of the rhetoric of Islam being negative and also wars and going on around, that's why people are kind of scared of the religion and thinking that basically all Muslims, especially if you have a bird, all Muslims are terrorists. So how we should do to flip that off, to change that really set of mind? What do you think we, as humanity in general should do? Because I really believe that all good people are the same in having the same way of thinking. So we should together as a human being trying to change some stuff that's really good, like the negative rhetoric they're having for Islam. What needs to be done?
It's a very good question, and I really wish I had the answer. I think it starts with listening to people and trying to sort of understand where different people are coming from. I think many people want the same thing in life, and most people in the world do not want violence. And so I think it takes introspection, personal introspection, but it also takes listening to others, stepping back from your own emotions and being willing to listen to where others are coming from.
Well, don't you think also some Muslim countries need to really change their way of teaching Islam itself? Because if you cannot really create haters and call them Muslim, because you can go around and kill people. Islam never asks people to do that. So I think also certain countries have a role to play in that, in terms of trying to teach really what Islam means, instead of just saying go around and kill everybody around, which is not really a teaching of Islam. Azra, what needs to be done in order to flip that off?
It's a great question and a very important one, one that's in the news every day today. You said it yourself, this idea of connecting Islam with terrorism is so toxic and so dangerous, and there's so many people in America, not everyone, don't get me wrong, who believe that being a Muslim means believing in violence and after being here, I know they couldn't be more wrong. And I think the first step is, the more you can get this cultural exchange, the better, because if everyone went to Senegal, we wouldn't have these problems, because people would see the Teranga and see how there's so many Muslims who value peace and community and coexistence. And I think the more we can get that cultural exchange, and it is difficult, but the more we can have people having these conversations, the more they'll see kind of the beauty of Islam, and the love that it brings amongst people of all religions. And like you said, there's obviously issues on both sides with hatred of the West, but if we see that Islam doesn't connote that, I think people would get along much better.
Absolutely. Well, there's a say from someone who really represents the positive side of Islam, who is Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, who said, "Ya Malik al-Mulk, Ya man jalla an qawadin, irham jami' al-wara. He said, oh Lord, Lord of the Word, please help all creatures. He doesn't even basically say Muslims or Senegalese. He asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help all creatures. We just talk about Sheikh Al-Khanim and also Touba. The Magal was just almost a couple of weeks ago, and I believe you guys went to Touba. You did at the Magal. Yes. You went before the Magal. You visited Touba for the first time for both of you guys. What was your first impression seeing Touba?
I went twice, once before the Magal and once during the Magal. There were a lot more.
Your nickname is S.Fallou, by the way.
Yeah, my nickname is
S.Fallou. He's my sheikh, though, by the way.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, there were a lot of more people there during the Magal, obviously, but it's incredible to see the effort that people go.
And the amount of faith
yeah, people will jump on any bus, they'll go on the roof. It's it's a very, very important holiday for people. It's
what did you visit there in Touba?
I went to the library, I went to the mosque, and I went and visited members of the Mbake family as well.
Okay, so first we start with the library. When you went in, they show you all the what's in there, the books, the amount of collection we have over there?
It's huge.
What did you saw over there?
It was, I think I went in a room with copies of the Quran, and then with some of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's personal belongings.
Most of the copies are written by the sons, of the Sheikh, and also, siblings and stuff.
Yeah, the room I was in was all handwritten.
It's very important to write the book by yourself in Islam.
Right.
Especially in Touba, though.
Right.
What else did you saw? I mean, you see the Hasidas and stuff.
Yeah, and I also saw some of the personal belongings of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, which again, we're sort of tying it back to his exile and his opposition to the French. I mean, the Magal itself is partially a celebration of Serene Touba's exile by the Muslims, by the French.
Right. Well, basically, it's kind of a Thanksgiving. He's asking because he went away for close to 33 years. He was in hardship with them. He stayed firm in his religion, believing in Allah. He said, working Abdullahi wa Khadimu Rasul, being a slave of Allah, but working for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So since Allah gave him victory, a clear one, he asking everybody to come and help him thank Allah. Yes. So the Magal Day is a thanksgiving. It's not calling for people to honor him. It's a difference. A lot of people make that confusion, though. They think they're going to honor the Sheikh, but it's like we're going for a thanksgiving day. Just like you have a Thanksgiving Day over there.
Yeah.
Right?
Coming up soon, right?
Yeah,
What's the day?
This Thursday.
Okay. What was the purpose of the Thanksgiving again?
That's an interesting question. It's a historical one, but the story we're told is it celebrates
the pilgrims, right?
Yeah, the pilgrims coming to America and sharing a meal with the Native Americans.
Absolutely. So we have that same Thanksgiving on the 18th Safar every year over here in Touba. So on your first visit, what did you visit it over there?
Yeah. So my first visit was the mosque.
The mosque.
I went directly to the mosque, and it was beautiful. We were able to see different sides.
The tomb is not in the mosque, but up
I saw the tomb as well.
Right.
Where he's interned. It was truly one of the most beautiful buildings I've seen in my life. And they're always adding more. I saw the ceiling was beautiful, the tile, and all the stones from all over the world. It was really, really interesting to see. I also visited. I may get the name wrong, but it was the Well of Health, I believe. It was Ahmadou Bamba prayed for a well to appear in Touba during a drought.
Right, absolutely.
And it appeared able to drink water.
It's called Ain Rahma.
Thank you. And that was a really interesting, really cool experience. And I felt very lucky to be able to drink the water from that well. It's something I'll remember for my entire life.
Right.
And I also was able to see some of Ahmadou Bamba's original books that he wrote, and his office had been kept preserved, and that was very beautiful to see. And then I ate a meal in Touba as well, which was very cool. I saw Lahab Teranga.
Okay.
Beautiful. People there, Senegalese people really are excited to show other people what Mouridism means to them and what Islam means to them. That's beautiful. I mean, my friend Khadim GAYE, who lives here in Liberté 6, took me to Touba, and I stayed with his family, with Yassine GAYE, Bousso GAYE, Mam Sai, Mam Jara, and they were all just so hospitable and really opened up their home to me. It was beautiful.
Basically, Senegalese and Mourids are very amazed, though, with the what this this icon really did in his lifetime. It's just really kind of really eager to show it to others because it's just mind-boggling. Especially his writing capacity. He's the most prolific writer, though, ever known to us, really. because and most writers, they have like one or two masterpieces, but every single book Sheikh Al-Khadim wrote is basically a masterpiece, and so we're kind of eager for people to know, you know, what he wrote over there. I mean, the amount of books he wrote, and that could be very interesting for humanity as well. Beautiful, again, Mr. Mamadou, Professor Mamadou Pouy Kapalar, again, visiting from Kate's boarding school. We're going to come back to that, inshallah, and he'll tell us what he's doing over there. We're talking about preserving the legacy of Sheikh Ahmad Bamba over there. Is it right now the books, I mean, since we're talking about transmitting the teaching of Sayyid Touba, and his memorabilia, like I always said, is huge. I mean, if you have the opportunity to visit Senegal, please visit the library of Touba in front of the mosque. You'll have all these books and memorabilia in terms of writing of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, and he wrote also about education, how to help children, like Tazawwud al-Shiqar, Shuban, all these books. Do you have this book already in English, and are the people over there taking opportunity of these books or not yet?
It has not been, you know, widespread, you know, to have all these books translated in English, but we have a few, you know, translation for some of the people who don't speak Wolof or who don't speak French. Okay, we're trying our best to get them to understand better this teaching. But for most of the young Senegalese who live there, we try to teach them the Qasida from Kun Katiman to Tazawwud al-Shiqar to Tazawwud al-Shiban. Yes, from the Daira or from the Kursarin Touba. So Bamba. If there is no house of Bamba, sometimes people use their own house as house of Bamba. And for example, for example, my kids, I teach them in the house. So when we wake up in the morning or on Saturday and Sundays, we learn Qasida, Quran, for them to know that this is the deen that we are following, and this is how we should, you know, practice. This is why we are here. Why we are here, because Allah has only created jinkind and mankind for the only purpose they could worship Him. So then I'm trying to, you know, engrave that into their mind to an extent that they understand this is very important Islam, mainly the Salah, the Siyam, and so on. And one example I was given, I was really proud of my younger son, who one day he had a football, you know, American football, flag football game, and he was fasting. Around 4 or 5, he was running here and there, and you know, doing everything. And then I asked him, "Are you still fasting?" He said, "Yes." And I was really impressed that day. And then when we went home, I bought something present for him just to encourage him. Because now, like Salah and Ramadan is already, they have it down. You know, no matter whatever, they do their Salah and then they do their Ramadan. And they're lucky, of course, to have a father that have this mindset, that really teaches them the rules and the principles of Islam. But other people might not have that opportunity. Tell us about, is there any resistance from the children over there? Yes, in some areas where, you know, sometime early on, the children think that because they are taught at school, if your parents, you know, kind of do this to you, do that, call 911, those kind of things. And then some of the parents are scared even to discipline their children. This is the law. And sometimes the kids abuse that to resist, you know, the teaching. And usually from bad influence. Yes, from bad influence. And sometimes in some areas, they just get out, as soon as they get out of the house, all they see is violence, gangs, drugs, and those kind of things. And it's very difficult. But however, there is the Dara, the Kursun Touba, where the parent can send their children, usually on the weekends, Sundays and Saturdays, where they go to learn the Quran and learn the ways in which the way of good behavior through all the teaching in Nahju, how you should behave with your teacher, with your parents, with your brother, your sister, and so on. I think this is very important in certain areas where you don't have resources right now close to you. And I'm really happy that we're doing a great job there through what we organize, Hasidah Day, Bamba Day, those kind of things are really important, where kids come and then they would see
especially
other
there's
children.
one they had last month, and I saw all these groups come in and
that's Hasidah Day.
The Hasidah
and
Day.
we had I was
beautiful.
impressed this year because we had kids from all
different
kinds
places.
of little, like from Cincinnati, from this area, from here, from there.
I was like, this is really America?
And they were chanting, and at the end there was one group. This group made me.
I think they
this one group.
The Jalibatul Maraqib.
That was yours. Yeah.
Oh, that
and
was
then there was some kids. We had some kid mainly Miss Serigne Sidi Mokhtar Bakke from Las Vegas, whose kids also, he's doing a great job there too. In Las Vegas, where his house is the Dara. Everyone comes there, kids come there and learn, and they now many of them can chant in the Qur'an.
Beautiful.
And also in New York, Atlanta, Houston, all kind of.
They came from all over.
There was even cities where I didn't think they were Muslim or even Murids. I think there was something from Minnesota or some kind of really place where you don't even think that. There was a chorale of young kids who were chanting Qasida, and there was at the end where they were chanting this kind of thing. It was really emotional. Everyone almost was crying. It was beautiful, and I think this is really great that we
congratulations to our sons and daughters over there. Really.
And also, I want to also to mention one person who is, we call her Sohna Mariam Saliu. She's really dedicated with the kids.
Beautiful.
She even called them Samaitu Tank. She's always.
She's the Yaifal.
Yeah, she's the Yaifal doing everything. She lives in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Sohna Mariam Saliu.
Mariam Saliu. And she does a great job. She's dedicated. Every event, Bamba Day, Hasidah Day, she's there. She even goes there with her purse full of scarf. When the woman doesn't respect certain things, she would give them, this is a scarf for you to wear.
Beautiful.
And also really encourages the kids.
Beautiful.
And she takes the kid as her own
family.
Kids. Yeah.
Beautiful. Sohna Mariam, assalamu alaikum.
Doing
and also,
a great
again,
job.
congratulations to our sons and daughters over there, really grasping on Serigne Touba's teaching. That is the only way, like Mamadou Kapolar said, our purpose in life is to worship Allah. If you're lucky enough to have someone who takes you on the right path,
that's right.
That's beautiful. And that's what we pray all the time on Fatihatul Kitab, the first surah, that even if you don't recite it on the prayer, it's not valid. And what we pray at the
every day
is Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, put us on the right path. So if you're lucky enough to have someone who's helping, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. But also, like I said, I'm going to come back to that question because I wasn't too satisfied with it. I mean, there's resistance. There's some people, some children who don't have the opportunity like your family, mashallah, have. What happened with how some of them been rerouted by children over there? Is it a problem right now with the Senegalese family?
It is a big problem because they see things on a daily basis. Every day people do that to a certain extent that they think this is normal. Even if I do it, there's nothing wrong with doing this, those kind of things. And it's a great challenge. Some of the kids don't even want to go to the daira. They want to go and
why would I go there, right?
They want to go hang out with their friends and play video games and those kind of things. It's a challenge. Even for example, some of my kids, even though I'm being with them on a watch with them, sometimes they will spend more time than I would like to doing video games. I'd say you're spending too much time on video games while you could be doing your maths things or you're doing your language, those kind of things. And also some kids, in some areas, you still have some kids who at a certain age, 20, 22, being in jail from Senegalese families, like Murid, someone whose name is Hadim, or you know, Fallou.
Okay.
You know, it's when I go to certain events, some parents would you know, complain and say, okay, my son Hadim is doing this and doing that. You know, he's skipping school, he's hanging out with some of the gang members in the neighborhood, and these are some of the main challenges. When you live in an area where there's a lot of violence and drug, it's very, very difficult. You know, someone like me, I think I will consider myself fortunate because I live in an area where it is, you know, I can say relatively safe in, you know, in a way. Like
not like the hood.
Yeah, Santa Barbara is really safe because it is, you know, if you live in an area which
there's
is
more highly educated
yeah, it is
there.
highly educated people. You know, a lot of you know, white privilege. You know, upper class. It's mostly upper class white privilege who live in Santa Barbara.
Before we start really talking about the topic of the day, by the way, will be viewers, al-khidma. Al-khidma is a word that you probably will find in many of the sheikh's writing, like Antal Karimu, Annal Khadimu, Daharan Udimu Fika Shanai. He's proclaiming the servanthood. He is vis-a-vis of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So before we try to look all the aspects of the khidma, we're going to start first off, you know, describing who's Sheikh Ahmad Bamba for the viewers who never heard of the founder of the order.
Very exciting question, S.Fallou. Defining Sheikh Ahmad Bamba is hard.
Right.
The politic man will tell you he's a gorgeous politic man. The economist will tell you he's the best economist of the world, etc. Sheikh Ahmad Bamba is something that we can define. We know that he is something who came to revolution the world, who came to bring a new aspect of living, who came to share with us a very important characteristic of living and sharing. So the muridhood, it's definitely a way of living, and a brotherhood in which he defined it himself. He said, no, people should consider me as Abdullahi wa Hadim Rasul, the slave of God and the worker of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So that is the definition that he gave to himself. So that is the definition that we will give to him.
Right. Lil Mustafa nawaitu ma yujaddidu sunnatul ghara wa inni ahmadu. So most of his philosophical aspect of what he truly taught to his disciple, most of it, and he lived within, was al-khidma. So what is the religious definition of that particular word of al-khidma?
Very interesting. You know, al-khidma, and that was the object of the paper that I wrote, naming it the theory of khidma. For me, khidma, not only for me, but the basic definition, because each and every of us can give a particular, a special definition of al-khidma. But the common definition that we can retain is that al-khidma is seeking God's will through humanity. Working for God through human beings. And that's what Sheikh Ahmad Bamba, because in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَابْتَحِي فِي مَا أَتَكَ اللَّهِ دَرَ الْآخِرَةَ وَلَا تَنْزَى نَسِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. After searching, after working for your afterhood, don't forget to work for the hereafter, for here in the earth. So it's important, that is working. But what kind of working? Is it stealing? Is it just going disturbing people? No. Sheikh Ahmad Bamba said, work in which you will earn the benefit, the result will come from God, but you will work through humanity. That is what means al-khidma. And the concept also comes in a really particular situation, because it put in this, like in the process, spiritual components and temporal also component. And it is interesting to understand that, because when we talk about worshiping God or working for God, it's mainly spiritual. But when you bring that aspect of working through people and through humanity, you are in the temporal side. So it is a concept that combines all those concepts, all those words, and all those definitions, process. And that is what makes it particular and special. But we need to understand that khidma for the human being, for the Muslim, but most important for the murid, is what needs to entertain him. And by the process, we will explain what we think the Khalifs, the 7 Khalifs that we know, Sheikh Ahmad Bamba, gave through that concept of hidmah, true facts, not words, but facts.
So, understanding you is it the pillars of Islam, the worship itself, that is being, described by Allah throughout, the books and hadiths? Is it part of in a centerfold inside the khidmah, or is it separate from the work vis-a-vis of the social aspect of it, or it's a whole?
Definitely, when we talk about a theory, we search and we put a lot of components together. But the definition that Sheikh Ahmad Bamba, because you told it when he said he had a mission. That was to revive the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But what can we learn? What difference can we make between the spiritual aspect and the other aspect of hidmah? Sitting Touba used to say that zahiran wa batinan tawafakha. His zahir and his batin are the same. So there are no specification, no separation between. That's why he's single. That's why he's just so special. He didn't have that really unregular separation between his spiritual way of living and the actual social, economic, and political of living. A man who had under his roof Sheikh S.Fallou and Serigne Mbacké Bousso is a special man.
Absolutely.
So he was teaching us to live in that special concept, putting by spiritual and temporal. And that's why defining Sheikh Ahmad Bamba is hard, because we can never know in which side to balance, and that is what makes him just unique. And that's why he said,
and also considering that he was exiled, and when he was in Gabon, usually there was no social works. He used to there was his writing. He said karamati khatu yadi, my karama of writings. And so the writing itself is part of a khidmah he was doing himself. So coming back also to Senegal, how he taught the khidmah itself to his closer disciples. How did they learn the philosophical meaning of it?
By teaching them what he is doing by facts. Sheikh Ahmad Bamba used to teach by facts. He never taught with words. He was not a person, humanity, he was not a person who talked too much. That's what Sheikh Muhammad al-Musara once told to us. But he teach by fact. And the way that they constantly used to work, you normally heard about this example when they say that at the prayer time, the disciples were working and they forgot to pray, and they continue the work, and the Sheikh asked them to stop and to erase every single thing they done between the time of the prayer and this time. So that was showing that there was a really interesting perspective, an interesting relationship between those this spiritual and temporal activities and concept that we were talking about. But it's important to know that when Sheikh Ahmad Bamba taught us to work, he used to say, work as if you will never die. Pray and worship as if you will die today. So the murid needs to be in that really middle angle, and that's what's important and hard today to do. Because it's all about the faith. It's all about what you feel inside. But when you work, and that's what I tell in my paperwork, that paperwork of khidmah, that if we use the theory of khidmah in our public strategies, in our public political strategies, we wouldn't need OFNAC. For example, OFNAC is the office which is fighting against corruption. Because people will have the main faith in their head and in their heart before doing something against God's law. The problem here today in our temporal, in our cities, is that God is not in His place. We put God after. We put it out. God is an outsider, like I say. In Senegal, and typically a lot of countries like Senegal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is an outsider. And that's what Sheikh Ahmad Bamba came to fight, to tell us that we need to put God in His truth and natural place, the central place, so that all our doings, all our facts, and all our thinking will remain to Him. And that's how He taught us to act as khidmah.
So was there an emphasis on education? So he's saying about corruption. No wonder why he founded those daru, those schools that he had in Daru Mohti, he had in Ndam with Sayyid Ndam Abdurrahman Lo. So the education then in the khidmah way is fundamental, I guess.
Definitely. It's the first part. It's the E kind. It's something without which, if there's there's no global education in the Hidma process, Hidma is not possible. Because as I told you, Hidma is just seeking for God's will, but through humanity, through people. So Sheikh Ahmad Bamba, the example, as in fact, he kind of built a kind of government, every and each part of this government working for something. You know that he gave Imam Chan Ibrahim the means and the fact to entertain the family. He gave to Sayyid Masamba the Hasidas. He was taking care of the writing of Sheikh Ahmad Bamba, which is a very, very, very hard undertake. He gave Imam Shahanta all remaining to finance, etc. Sitting Afi Mbake, he gave him the remains about the mosque and all those stuff, and again and again, and other sheikhs like Sheikh Rafal, and all of them. So he put every one of his sheikh in a place which he can handle it, and he can handle other people. And then he let them go under an interesting perspective of living, showing what they learned from Sheikh Ahmad Bamba. That's why when Sëñ Yaram Bay used to say, I cannot imagine Sheikh Ahmad Bamba, because I am with Sheikh Ahmad Bamba. He was talking about Mam Sheikh Ibrahim Fall, because through Mam Sheikh Ibrahim Fall, he was seeing Sheikh Ahmad Bamba. That is what is Hidma. It's at the point when yourself, you become that thing, you become that person, which we're referring to, and that is consequently doing the stuff and entertaining the fact, and that's the work, the incredible work that no one ever succeeds, that Sheikh Ahmad Bamba succeeds with his disciple, but most importantly with his brothers. So he just break that hard relationship which existed before between brothers which don't have the same mothers. So his little brothers accepted him, and he shared everything with them. Today, if you come in Sayyid Masamba's house, you will think that all the disciples of Muridism are at Sayyid Masamba's house. If you go to Darul Mufti, you will think that every single Murid is from Darul Mufti. So that's the exciting thing that Sheikh Ahmad Bamba did with every each of his disciple.
Right now, you coming on the side of your spiritual life. There's also your daily life. What is it in terms of what is it you're planning to do in terms of your work life in Senegal?
Well, I will say that when I came to Senegal, I saw that there is a lot of unemployment rate is skyrocketing. Okay, and then. In order for me to impact positively the life of people, I need to set up something where people can start working and gaining their own means, and then just working, getting paid so they can live a decent life. So with this idea, I started a business named Mix International, and we are in not only in the import business, but also we are in the security, which is the electronic security, but also the electronic security, but also the security of goods and people. So it's a company that hires quite a bit of people, and I truly believe that once we hit once we keep going, will impact a lot of lives.
When did you start it?
Well, I started about 1.5 years ago. Right now, we're working on building it up, and again, we're just praying God and working hard so we can really take it to the next level.
Are you based in Dakar or in Touba?
Well, I'm based in Dakar. I do go to Touba quite often, but we're here in City Battle.
Is it Touba will be part of the picture? Or?
Absolutely. We're going nationwide, and we're planning to also go in the bordering countries, Mali, Guinea, Gambia, and elsewhere. Yes. So
Touba, by the way, we're saluting also the work of my friend Badukan. Badukan, someone who is really also involved in terms of helping youngsters to have, giving them means to have decent life, of course, as you said. But Touba needs also this type of employment.
Absolutely.
It's skyrocketing over there as well. There's not many factories, there's not many places to help these youngsters. What do you think about how we should really come up to help really our city to get out of it?
Well, one have to understand, because when I say we're going nationwide, is like the headquarters is here in Dakar, but we're planning, the first place that we're planning to move to is Touba, then maybe Moor, and where we have the big agglomeration. Now, one need to understand that Touba, wherever you start in Touba or you build in Touba, will be blessed, because Touba is the headquarters of all the greatness that's happening in this world. And everything in this world will converge in Touba. Absolutely. So once you understand that, you will just run to Touba
to invest there.
Right. So if we Murids understand that from the get-go, I think that we will start building factories. We'll start building a lot of different activities that will generate that will generate employment. And I'll tell you what,
I said that because Saint Khadim, I've seen Senegal rising from the government, because there's a lot of concrete stuff being built right now in the city. If you go to Jamniadio, you've seen stuff coming out. If you see other countries, but if you go to, there's the Ila Touba though, that's being built, a highway. But in terms of our community having a free zone, attracting industries to come to Touba, helping youngsters there to really, just like as you said, have means to really have decent life. I don't see action being taken. I don't see, it's like it's not a concern right now. It is really mind-boggling, the opportunities you said. Even I've heard, you know, when it comes to tourism, they be saying, okay, we're going to promote this city more, St. Louis, the parks. But even religious tourism is not promoted as it was supposed to do. Because if you go and promote Touba in certain areas of the world, I'm sure you can attract something for right. So why is it, what's lagging? Why is it people not getting together to seize that opportunity?
Well, I will say, because I usually don't like to play the blaming games.
Right.
Okay. But I have to notice and say that Touba is growing again on an exponential rate, way faster than we reacting. That we are acting. So basically, you will see people reacting instead of being proactive. And at this point, where we have the second biggest population of Senegal being in Touba, I truly agree with you that we need to build not only infrastructure, but then industry that will really help that population.
Right.
Now, it's a poor leadership, government leadership, I would say, because we should have a like franchise zone where we can have tax-free, duty-free, or we can just put some incentive that will make it easier for folks to come over there and to just build the activities that will generate employment. Now, I would take, for instance, when the president of Senegal, Macky Sall, talked about, I'm going to build a presidential palace in Jamniadio. If it was me, I would build that presidential palace in Touba, because knowing that everything in this world will converge to Touba, just like Sheikh Ahmed Bamba Hadim Rasul did.
Absolutely.
So you might as well just start it from there and then expand the tourism and everything, because you know what, it's a win-win game.
Well, with Talibans, with this type of dedication, we're sure we're going to come to that, inshallah, and when Touba will be up there in terms of the best cities in the world. It is already the best city, because Touba has Serigne Touba, and no other city has Serigne Touba, of course. But there's any hope, though, if what you see when you came back, our community, how it works, or anything you can suggest though for us, like Murid in Senegal, because I see Murids coming from abroad in America, especially, they're very tough in terms of, they fight up. They want things to go right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, so is it hope though with what you see? Is it?
Yes, but I won't be pretentious. I want to keep it very humble.
Right.
And but one thing that also I have to agree on is that there is a evolution, because I stayed over 11 years without coming to Senegal, and when I came back, I saw huge change, a big progress when it comes down to the youngsters. Nowadays, you will see that all the youngsters are heading to get the blessing of Sheikh Ahmed Bahari Rasul. They are more interested on the Muridiya cause than before. And I think that it's a very positive thing, but we just need to get more organized. We just need to keep on teaching the Sheikh's writings. We need to keep on valuing what we have instead of trying to import something that's not ours.
It doesn't belong to us.
Because success will come through Sheikh Ahmed Bamba's work.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be our last word, though, of this show. But we're going to give you a time also to thanks viewers and also, your last word on the program.
My last word, I would like to thank each and every one of our viewers for taking this time, taking their precious time and just sitting back and watching us. I also like to thank S.Fallou and all the Khalif General of Muri, but thanking you and your amazing team.
S.Fallou, a sheikh of mine and a friend of mine too, though.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With my guru also.
He's my spiritual guide.
No kidding.
Yes, for sure. Since I was a kid, actually.
Oh, okay.
And then I just would like to wish that the whole Senegalese community will understand the mission of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba and taking where it belongs so we can move from good to great. Because right now, that's what we need.
Absolutely.
All the political stand, all this game that's been going on.
It's temporal.
We just need to stop it and really accept the position of Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba so we can keep on moving on.
What a beautiful last word. Also, my Ibra having his day coming the 31st, Sheikh Ibrahim Afal Day in Success, taking our time to wish him well on that particular day. So thank you, Serigne Khadim. It's going to be not going to be the last one. You're going to be coming back, and there's much more we're going to discuss and talk about. Inshallah, viewers, thank you again for watching Eco from Touba. You can follow us on our page, the Eco from Touba page, again happening every Wednesday here, 3 o'clock. In Lampfal TV, thanking Serigne Aliou Thioune, all the members of the television center here working for the betterment of this program. Wishing well also to our Khalif, Sheikh Muntaha, and my own Sheikh Murtada, Serigne Abdul Ahad Mbacké. Until next time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Jërëjëfati Serigne Touba. Jaraw lak Imam Sheikh Ibrahima Fall. Praying time. Assalamu alaikum. Barke Serigne Touba. Barke Serigne Touba. Barke Serigne Touba. Doole Serigne Saliou.